So, my name is Travis, and this is going to be my first video on YouTube. So, I'm here with my dad, and we're going to predict the Premier League. It's going to be a tough one, but I reckon I'll get none right. But still, so what we've did is we have predicted the full 20 Premier League teams in a league table, and we've also got top scorer, top assist, signing of the season, first manager to leave/sacked, player of the year and young player of the year, and we're just going to predict them all in this video, so let's get right into it. Starting with the relegation zone, I have Brighton, Huddersfield and Watford. Well, the names you brought in are good, but there's not a lot of Premier League experience. But Watford, I don't think they're strong. Well, they suffered last season just staying above the relegation zone, so that's why I think they're going to be the bottom three.
Yeah, I agree. Huddersfield and Brighton, not enough Premier League experience. First season Premier League for most of their players. I think they're going to be in for a long, hard season, unfortunately. I think possibly Swansea's time has come to an end in the Premier League as well. I think just now, they've still got Sigurdsson just now, but it looks like he's going to be going to Everton. I think if he goes, they're going to find it difficult to replace him. And that could be what might be the thing that sends them down as well.
Yeah.
What about your Champions League places?
The Champions League places?
Maybe top four.
Top four, okay. My top four, starting from fourth place, I have Arsenal. I think they've made two great signings in Lacazette and Kolasinac. Look like they're going to be fantastic. They're going to do bits.
Don't have Champions League football.
Europa League.
Europa League. Will that be good or bad for them? Playing an extra day later through the week. Time will tell. They're not used to that. They've always been Champions League before.
Yeah, but it's a step down. It's a competition. They can win.
Arsene Wenger traditionally has used squad players for lesser competitions. Whether he counts the Europa League as a lesser competition, we'll wait and see.
Right, with third place, I think I'm going to need to go with Liverpool. They've got two rapid wingers in Salah and Mane. I think they're going to do bits down the wing. Look at last year how Mane scared all Premier League defenders with his pace and ability on the ball. And then Firmino can get the goals and everyone else can score. But
sets goals from everywhere for Liverpool. They lose one player, there's another one there to fill in. They don't have it. Will Liverpool miss having a 20-25 goal season striker? Maybe Sturridge will be fit again. Sturridge has been that guy before.
And judging on pre-season, two great youngsters in Ryan Kent and Ben Woodburn have both been absolutely fantastic in pre-season, who could get some game time.
Solanke's he's scored a couple of goals pre-season as well. Could be a good season for Liverpool.
Yeah, and in second place I have the Premier League winners of 2016-2017, Chelsea. I think they'll just miss out. Well, they've got Alvaro Morata, and depending on how quickly he can adapt to the Premier League will be the position that they finish, because I doubt Costa will play with the attitude he's had and not playing any pre-season matches. With the loss of Matic and the rest of their centre-backs, could be a loss for them, even though because I don't think Bayoko's any bit better than Matic. But for the big boys of the first in the Premier League, in my opinion, it's going to be Man City. Judging on pre-season, they've bet Real Madrid, they've lost to Man U, but I was really unlucky. They've They've beat a lot of teams. Danilo looks like he could be giving Kyle Walker a run for his money because he can, even though he can play left and right. Benjamin Mendy could do good in that left back position. Bernardo Silva didn't really need a winger, but he's really good. And then Ederson looks like a good young prospect and a keeper. So that's why I think Man City will do.
City for champions. I agree.
Yeah.
I think Manchester City will finish top of the table this season. They've strengthened a lot. They've strengthened a lot of player positions. Defence was a problem for them last season. Did they need another centre back, or do they just need Company to be fit? If Company's fit, he's the best defender in the league. So I think Manchester City to finish top. I'm going to go with Liverpool to finish second. I think, even with the thought of losing Coutinho, I think, has Salah been brought in to replace him? Salah arguably adds a little more balance to the team. If you have Salah one side, Mane on the other, it's pace down both wings, where Coutinho always stepped inside from the left hand side. Chelsea in third. I just think that the squad's not big enough. I don't think they're stronger now than they were at the start of last season. Unless they can add a couple of players between now and the end of the deadline day, which there is still 20 days left. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. And fourth place probably Manchester United I've gone for.
Yeah.
I think Lukaku's proven he can score goals in the Premier League. He'll be a good signing.
But he's just came in to replace Zlatan, and if he's even though he did a little bit better than Zlatan, which those goals could have gave them a fifth place finish if realistically.
But with Lukaku arguably doesn't score against the bigger teams as often as he should, but it was the smaller teams last season that Manchester United had trouble beating. They were the ones they were getting lots of draws. There were lots of draws against lesser teams. Lukaku could be the guy to win those games.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so who's your Europa League?
Sort of just outside teams that I don't know if we'll call it Europa League places, because you never know how the cup competitions will go, but obviously from who we have said, the teams that are just missing out on Champions League, fifth place I think goes to Arsenal. I think playing that day later in the Europa League this season for them is a big change. I wonder how well they'll adjust to it, and teams in the past haven't done that well with it. And then sixth place I'm going to go with Tottenham. I know they've had a great season last season especially, season before they did very well. Young team, great team, but past that team, past the starting 11, do they have an awful lot of impact players off the bench?
And if Danny Rose put in a transfer request
well,
today.
he seems to be trying to get a transfer away. They've lost Kyle Walker. They haven't signed anyone yet, and they've also got playing at Wembley this season. I think too many other teams are going to enjoy the day out at Wembley more than Tottenham will enjoy playing their home games at a different stadium, bigger pitch. I just don't think they've got the legs in the squad to do it for a full season. Last time I remember Arsenal playing at home, played their home games in the Champions League at Wembley, and that was only group stage, 3 games, and they did terribly. So I think history's shown that Wembley as a home ground hasn't worked for teams. Who you got just finishing outside the top 4?
I agree, but with fifth place I have Manchester United. Judging on what they did last year, that's where they're going to finish. I mean, they've got Matic, but is he there to replace Herrera, who is...
Herrera was their best player last season.
Getting player of the year, and Pogba being absolutely shocking for a £90 million footballer.
You never know, Pogba's second season, he might come good. Manchester United fans have to hope so.
And then Tottenham, for all the above reasons that we've already mentioned. But I think we're going to need to go below that now with 7th, 8th.
I think the rest of the teams there, we'll put both our predictions in the description for the video, and I think people are interested in who we think's the top ones. The bottom ones are, unfortunately, they're the interesting positions. So what we also did was we picked our thoughts for Footballer of the Year, Young Footballer of the Year. So who have you gone for those two?
Well, for Player of the Year, I have Aguero. I think he'll get all the goals.
All the goals.
All the goals. All the goals that De Bruyne will give him.
All the goals De Bruyne will give him. And with that note, I'm picking De Bruyne for Footballer of the Year. I think he had a fantastic season last year that kind of went under the radar a little bit because Manchester City's performances weren't quite
up to the standard they should be.
As good as everyone thought they were going to be under Guardiola. He was still a shining light in almost every game. He was brilliant. He provides assists, he provides goals. I think I saw somewhere that he was one of the players who hit the bar or the post more than any other player last season. So it's those fine inches. If those ones start hitting the post and going in, he'll add more goals, more assists. I think with Aguero in front of him, putting the ball in the net as well. And that, I think Aguero's going to end up top goal scorer.
Yeah, well, I totally agree, because I said I think De Bruyne will get assists for all the above reasons we've already answered. But top scorer, I think, will be a bit different. I think it will be Romelu Lukaku. He was the top scorer for a part of last season, and then Harry Kane scored 7 goals in 2 matches.
Take away the last 2 games, Lukaku would have been top goal scorer last season. It's fine margins.
Yeah. But with Young Player of the Year, I think it's going to be Gabriel Jesus from Man City. If he gets the game time, I think he'll be a fantastic footballer.
He showed he could score goals last season.
He had a big loss in last year because of his injury against Swansea, which was very, very agonising for all Man City fans.
I think as far as Young Player of the Year goes, and I hope he plays a lot this season. I'd like to see Ben Woodburn play a lot more, and I think if he does, especially if Liverpool were to lose Coutinho, will Woodburn play a little bit more? Yeah, let's hope so. And I think if he does, he would be in with a shout for Young Footballer of the Year. I think we've both deliberately avoided going for the obvious Dele Alli, who's probably worth an honourable mention as well. But we want to see new players win these things as well. I think the last thing we talked about was which manager we think will either leave or be sacked first, and I think we've both agreed on this one as well.
Yeah, Rafael Benitez. He's not happy with Newcastle not making any business. I mean, they have made some business,
just not big business. Yeah, I think Benitez will be more likely to quit and walk rather than to be sacked.
I mean, it all depends on what happens in the last 20 days of the transfer window.
That's it. The Premier League kicks off tomorrow evening with
Arsenal playing Leicester.
Oh, and that reminds me of one last thing. We thought about a signing of the season.
Yes.
And speaking of Arsenal and Leicester, Travis has gone for an Arsenal player, and I've gone for a Leicester player. Your Arsenal player for the best signing of the season?
Lacazette. I think he's proven it in the French division. He can score goals. He is Arsenal's number 9. He will be their number 1 scorer in my opinion, because I think Sanchez will go.
I think Sanchez will go. I like Lacazette. I think he'll score a lot of goals. But as you know, I'm Oliver Giroud's biggest fan.
Yeah.
I think he's a fantastic footballer, and I think he gets a little harshly treated sometimes. He scores brilliant goals. He scores lots of goals. You just give him the chance. But Lacazette will be good. He's probably a he's probably a higher quality player than Giroud is, but I like Giroud. And I think for signing of the season, and this is for no other reason than an app that Travis showed me with the FIFA draft app.
Yeah.
Every time I get Vincent Bora, I seem to win all the time. I think he's like a freak player in it. He's like a cheat player. Every time you have him in your team, you win. No matter what. So I think Vincent Bora for Leicester is gonna turn into be a great signing.
Yeah, especially with him being Sevilla captain, getting 6 goals in 32 matches for the La Liga side.
See, he's not there to score goals. He's there to destroy. Is that? I think that's possibly Leicester replacing Kanté.
Yeah, number 6'5", 6.
And he seems to be an absolute monster as well. Yeah.
As a 6'5" footballer, and that's quite scary.
You've got to hope that he's good with his feet as well.
Yeah. Not just head.
Yeah.
But as we said, we'll link everything, our league table, in the description. So I think that'll end it off for our Premier League predictions. And
thanks for watching our first video.
Goodbye.